We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Dreamtime Motion with me, Isaac Kinzambi, in the production of Telebanda in Portland, Maine. I cannot be here without Telebanda. It is in my duty to tell you more about a gentleman called Denzulu Zitu, the CEO and producer of Telebanda. He is putting all his mind, all his strength, all his finances to help us to inform more, form, and transform. If you have a wedding, if you have a birthday party, if you have a church meeting or you have a mosque meeting, call our brother. Because he came here not only to find a way, but is showing also the way to others. Information is important, but spreading information is more important. TV Banda, we salute you, and we are calling all investors. Please, come help TV Banda and Denzulu Zitu. My name is Isaac Kinzambi, and this is the dream, the time, and the motion. Today is Martin Luther King Day. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an African and American. And today I call my friend, American Carl Dealers, and my friend Christian Bisimwa to come and reflect with me on this subject. What are we doing for others? I will let the American first to introduce himself and tell us what is the most important, imminent, urgent question in life. Carlo Dealers, tell us how we met, who you are, what are you doing for the community and for others, and the most important question in life.
Well, we met after a very rapid train of events, a sequence of events. My son Noah and his mom, my wife, we arrived to Portland a little over a year ago, and really very quickly the problems of Portland presented themselves to us. Portland is as I said in the last time, it's really a mixture of beautiful and very worrisome things. I won't go into detail why Portland is so beautiful. I think a lot of people understand why we love being in Portland. But boy, do Portland's problems show themselves in every single day. And in our particular family's case, we were taking a walk we live very close to the beautiful Deering Oaks Park, which is a beautiful place. And we were enjoying it immensely until we crossed State Street, or High Street, to the second part of Deering Oaks Park, where we found the homeless people with their tents. And one of the women was crying, wailing vociferously, and really telling everybody blocks around how much pain she was in. And that was a very sobering moment. And our son Noah was, and I think all children who live in Portland notice the suffering that people are feeling. And so I think that's something that worries us, and I'm sure that it worries lots of people. So being worried about things, we talk, we meet people, and I was introduced to Isaac as a person who was also interested in talking about what's going on in our city and what we all might be doing to alleviating some of those worries that we are all feeling. And I'm very happy to be here with all of you and following Isaac's lead in having a conversation. I'm sorry for stealing your line, but it's a wonderful line. Let's have a conversation. It's the source of learning and exploration and
There is a
growing.
question. There's a question in your life, most urgent, most persistent?
Well, I think when I think about Portland, I am extremely worried about what are we going to do with the high rents and the high interest rates and the consistent threat of having to live in Deering Oaks Park, which, although thankfully we are not doing, but it's always the threat. If things go wrong, we and many other people can end up in places like that. We are also aware of the fact that many people live illegally in our country, and they are running from the ICE and in threat of having to leave their families here. As well as we are living in Portland, Maine, which should be covered in snow right now, and it's not because we live in a hot world, and we need to change our energy policies. We have to do
This
that.
is your son Noah, and welcome to Dream Time Motion. You know what I do? I talk about dream, who you want to be, time, when you want to be, and motion, how you want to be. I'm the friend of your father. You know where we met? We met when your father had a dream to teach an immigrant how to play tennis. And I thought it was easy. Not easy, but you were playing so nice. Noah, tell me, do you have the most urgent and persistent question as an American young boy, an American child? Can you tell me what is a question for you?
Well, my question is basically, why do people like sometimes just offer things to strangers? I know that they can help, but sometimes you should get to know them better before you give them something.
Interesting.
Well,
Gentlemen.
we've had lots of interesting reactions with people on the street. It's easy to do
You
in
told me.
Portland, and they sometimes Noah himself says, "Dad, we gotta go give money to that person," and we give them a little bit of money,
You told me.
although there are some people in the street who can scare a person because
So
they're
you have been
angry.
many years out of your country. You have experienced the feeling, the stress of living out of your country. Keep that thought, because I'm going to ask you some questions about what are you doing about others. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so pleased to introduce you for the first time in Dream Time Motion, my man, my friend, my brother. Christian Bisimwa is here with me. You know, I cannot forget the first days that I landed in Portland. If I never met Christian Bisimwa, I could not meet Molly, who counseled me. I could not meet so many people. Christian Bisimwa is the first leader, immigrant African leader. We are not talking anymore about countries. Yeah, countries too much things. No, we are not Africans. He is the African first leader to talk to me and say, Isaac, I believe in you. Mission Christian is here. So tell me how we met, how we connected, how we met again after I went to Africa, and tell me what is the most persistent and imminent and urgent question of our lives as African out of Africa.
Yes, thank you for the question, and thank you again for having me sharing the this space with new friend as well. So, love the thought we started talking about now. As you said, Christian Bisimwa, I'm originally from Africa, Congo
Yes,
especially, east of Congo especially, and also grew up in West Africa in Ivory Coast. I went to school over there. I went, I learned, college, and then I did international trade in Abidjan. That's my second country then.
You're Mr. Africa.
Of course, so it's a place you're being a stranger somewhere, and then don't feeling 100% you are a stranger, just because there is a sense of Ubuntu. We used to use that word back home, and then from South Africa to Zambia, Zimbabwe, and then they changed sense of sound only, but if you go to Congo, they say moto in Lingala. So they say mutu in Swahili. And that means a lot in terms of considering the human being. The human being, when you say that, it's not the body. You have a spirit, you have a heart. And the difference can be sometimes the color only. That brings me to that question saying, why sometimes people try to lose that sense of humanity? Yeah, that's why sometimes you feel like you are welcome, but not 100%. They say, okay, because you are not from here 100%, you are not eligible for health. So even if you start working, you don't have a health care, something like that. So you can get some support at some point that limited. Why? It's a difficult question to answer, but I know for real, as we are thinking about Martin Luther King Day today, it's so important to think about equal justice. Yeah, equal rights. It doesn't matter where you come from, but you are a human being first. That's why I love men. Paul and men give us a chance to understand that when the human being comes, he comes from somewhere he got hurt. It's like a car went to the collision. How long this car in the collision gonna take time to come out from the garage? So the human being also inside hurt, he feel completely broken and losing everything, even hope. So how to help the person to start building that hope without considering the sense of humanity? Thinking about that person first, physically, emotionally. Yeah, we can give them a support, and then after that, training, transformation, education, as you said.
Yes, sir.
And on top of that, you think of the value that person can get back to him. And that's why, at the end, he's gonna bring this sense of creativity. That's why we love having the space like this where we are working with Denzulu today. You know, without that sense of creativity, this man cannot do this, get this message from these thoughts
Yes.
and then sending them out.
Yes.
So now we're proud of those young things. But I know, moving forward, we will discuss and then give some also thoughts, and then for now, what the only thing I can add, I'm working as a community health worker.
Yes.
You ask how we got connected,
Yes.
just because of that sense of unity.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, this is from Africa, guy.
Yes.
I didn't ask even what happened in life first, but I thought the book he was handling in the hands, it was like the impossible become possible. That gave me a chance to understand that, I want to promote this word. So for me, the first thing was promoting him.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
He got resettled already, but we're gonna deep. Very soon we're gonna go in deep on both thoughts.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Christian Visible. And I love to listen to people like him who are not where they are born, and showing gratitude to people like Carlos who are there where they're born. I wrote a book, a poetry book, with the title, I Have a Word. One day they asked us a question. What are you doing here? Why are you here? Yeah, it's a very important question, which doesn't have so many answers. But I said, I'm here because I have to walk. I will walk on the steps of those in silence. I will walk upon the tears of the rejected. I will walk, flying upon the resistance of the ungodly, swimming against the tide of the unwise. I will walk, head swinging, breath shortening. I am walking. Surely the destiny closes the gate. I am approaching. In the dark of the city of life, I will walk. In the place of mortification, I stand. I cannot feel my heart beat. I can feel the wind. I am the target of a moving bullet. I must walk. I will walk as I am walking. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are here because we need to walk. We need to advance. And Dr. King said on the Martin Luther King Day, this poem was inspired by the quote by Dr. King. He said, if you cannot fly, run. If you cannot run, walk. Then I stopped there and said, okay, he said I have to walk. But he said, if you cannot walk, crawl. But for any circumstance, don't stop. We are not going to stop. We are going to walk. And then come the second question. And the debate is open. You know, Dr. King said something that never came right in my heart. I never understood why he said that. Only when 2024 came, I wrote my resolution, like many of us. And I said, this year I'll get married again. I'll buy more car. I'll build my name. I'll get more mortgage. I will, yes. I'll sell more books. I'll travel more. And then something came in my mind, and I wrote the quote. And the quote says, Dr. King said, the most urgent and persistent question in life is, what are you doing for others? Oh, Brother Christian, Carlos, I stopped and I cried. Because I wanted to change my life. Since I was born, I start life by doing things to others. In high school, I was in terminal, 12th grade. I was teaching already 11th grade. And when I went to church because it's giving the opportunity to do something for others. And I went to mission. And I came in America, I'm like, what can I do for others? They say, do something. And I wrote books. And last year I decided I'll never do that anymore. I'll get my job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, so I can make more money. Get a bit of, because in Africa, if you have a tummy, like Mr. Christian, it means you have a lot of money. In Africa, when you are fat, it means you are wealthy. In America, you must be slender, like you. So something came in my mind. I should not think first about me. And when I was coming here, the Uber driver told me, I said, why you don't have a car? I said, why don't I need a car? If I have a car, you know I have a job anymore. He said, you are right. You are right. Because I have to do something for others. So, Carlos, no, we start with Christian. Mr. Christian, tell us in short, what are you doing for us? Especially as immigrants, what are you doing for us?
That's a very good question. As I said previously, you know, people came from somewhere, they lost a lot. And then they grew up in the sense of humanity, but they feel like nobody's considering them over there as part of the community.
Oh.
So there is some fight somewhere. So there is somebody who's supposed to protect you. Unfortunately, the one who's supposed to protect you is now against you. And then you feel 100% unsafe.
Yes, sir.
The sense of unsafety give the only way to people to leave the country. So leaving the country, those who were lucky didn't go through very bad situations, but many of people went through very bad things like rapes. You know, militia using rapes back home as a weapon.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care. Sometimes they use even that weapon to men as well, not for women.
Ooh.
So think about that heart was broken completely. What that heart need to start building hope, that person need to be seen first. And also being heard. And on top of that, being supported. So that's why, for me, what I can do for the people, I went through those situations as well.
Oh, yes, sir.
So considering like, this is Kinzambi who came, he left somewhere, and then he need my support immediately.
Oh, yeah. I like it. Immediately.
Let me pay attention on him immediately. So immediately I was about to listen to him first, and then I feel like even if we didn't go in deep in conversation, but what can I do to you immediately? So let me connect you to the first things, to the PCP. Let me connect you to free care. Let me connect you to food pantries. Let me connect you to those people who can help immediately, even legal services as well. Instead of staying in the street without knowing where are you going.
I get it.
Guess what? I have a friend who came in my office and then said, Papa Christian, people call us as adults already, Papa Christian.
Papa, yeah.
So he was like, I went to GA, and then I gave me a paper over the general assistance, give me the paper saying, okay, we are granted. He was like, hallelujah, I'm granted now. Now I have my asylum.
Yes.
For him, he is waiting now where to go to work because GA granted him the services he provided.
Oh, okay.
You see that confusion? So I start with a person and then explain, starting educating immediately.
Oh, formation.
Immediately, I said, okay, let me explain to you what things are going. So educating the person also, give a chance to start building hope, and then think, then on top of that, I need a house. So we help him to get a house, an affordable one. That's why I'm still saying the sense of humanity, the sense of Ubuntu. From back home.
Oh.
So
So
you see,
how difficult it is, because I got the point. It was not in my mind. Helping others can also be easier just by connecting to people who have resources. Because people who come to me, Isaac, you don't have resource. Oh, how can you help us? In our African mentality, if you don't have, you are nobody. But in America, I don't need to have to help. So how difficult it is for somebody who came from where we came from to make him or her understand, even though you don't have a Mercedes-Benz, but you know how he can get a Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, sir.
Just because we came as I said, people lost everything, but you feel like you landed in a stage where people are considering people as human first, and then they have the chance to have some rules, and the one with the best rules is a golden rule. And that golden rule stands for, I see this guy, no food, let me provide food immediately.
Okay.
Even if I can not enough, good enough, but I know where to send
Oh.
him, where he can get that.
Oh, you know.
Even if also emotionally he's broken, so let me connect him immediately to the social worker. So I cannot do that job, but at some point I have to give a chance to that person to get connected to somebody who can listen to him.
Yes, sir.
And on top of that, feeling that not only you can do so, but also empower that person to do the same thing to another person who's going to come back later.
Oh, wonderful.
So we have a
wonderful.
chain.
When you suffer a lot to do this kind of work,
It's a pleasure now, more
Yeah.
than 10 years now doing the same
that's what we call it, dream time motion. So you have a dream to help people. In the beginning, they may not understand you, but after time, like, I meet people like, Papa Christian helping me, Papa Christian helping me. I said, I'm also one of the people he helped. You know what he did? He connected me to the social worker. Because I was going through a harsh divorce. Yeah, divorce linked with immigration benefit. So my ex-wife was advised to go to UK, and I was advised to come here. She chose to go to UK, and she traveled to come here to convince me to go to UK. And then I didn't know where to go. He advised me to a social worker, and the social worker helped us to understand everything.
Okay.
Carl Dillis, what are you doing for others? I know you are doing many things.
Well, I think that it is so interesting for me, being a non-African person, but hearing about Ubuntu, I think that there is so much to be explored and to be learned from that. So that is, of course, I'm very good at asking. Please teach me more about
Of
about
course,
this
we're
thing.
going to talk.
Okay.
We're going to have a day.
A
special
lot of
day to
talk.
allow
Okay.
that one on.
A lot
Okay.
of talk.
Yeah, because I'm preparing also a book.
You see?
Yeah.
So tell us
I'm
something
very
about
sorry.
your book. Maybe Dreamtime Motion, we can help you to put it somewhere.
Yeah, of course, it is not a topic today, but it's about the color of the wall.
Oh,
So very soon we're gonna go in deep on that, and then I'm gonna have a time to develop. But because today we are talking only about Martin Luther King Jr. Let us stay on that topic.
Okay.
And I understand very well that sense of humanity. Martin Luther King the doctor used to have that one, and then it was like looking people can understand very well the message, and they can convey to the others people.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I like that.
The most imminent, persistent question, Dr. King said, what are you doing for others? Now I understand his motivation, his strength, his power. He was basing, I hear a story when I went to Atlanta about his wife. The wife said, why we don't have a house? He said, why do I need a house? Everywhere I go, the society gave me a place to sleep. Why I need my house when my people don't have houses? And the wife did expressly, she registered the house on her name. So Dr. King, I tell you that he didn't have a house. So when I'm trying to tell the people it's about others, they said to me, why about me? Who is helping me? I don't even have enough. How I can help others? Carlos, tell me, you need to have enough to help others?
It's the question of what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Well, I think that the source of all good comes from within us, if a basic fact, and if you ask me what do I think is the answer to Martin Luther King's question, what are we doing for others? Well, I think Martin Luther King gave a shining example. I think Martin Luther King was a person, until the very day that he died, he was a person who studied and reflected and studied more and reflected more about the question, how are we going to bring each other together, all of us together? And I think that Martin Luther King, he used to say, I read his last speech the night before he died, and again he talked on the mountaintop, yeah, and he said, the Pharaoh was very good at separating the slaves and dividing the slaves into different groups, because the Pharaoh knew that this was, if the slaves were fighting with each other, he would sit happily. But Jesus and well, of course, before Jesus, the Jews found the way to come together, and when the slaves came together, when the Jews were able to unite themselves, that is when their emancipation came, and they were able to live so much better. And so I think that Martin Luther King lived his life doing that, and we can do it too. But it's thinking and studying and reflecting and conversing and continuing to think and study and reflect. How are we going to put aside our swords and turn our swords into plowshares of working together and helping each other? And that is a big challenge, but it is the challenge that makes the good life.
Ubuntu, Bantu, Muntu, Moto. M-O-T-O, Moto.
And I think that is such a human thing. But when you were saying, I remember the Greek word xenia. And in English, xeno means foreign people, and xenia, I think, was of an ancient Greek tradition, and I'm sure it wasn't only the Greeks. I'm sure that all the people in now the Middle East and in Africa and in Europe, they all had xenia, and it was be a good host, to receive the people that come to you and show them who you are in the best of term and make them happy.
Why I get this quote, the most persistent, imminent question, urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Because it's identified me in Martin Luther King. The African side, African is Ubuntu. The biggest proverb in Ubuntu philosophy is, I am because you are.
Oh.
So I believe he got it from there. The African DNA, spiritual DNA of him was telling him, I am because people are there. If they are not there anymore, I'm a speaker. I'm an inspirational speaker because people listen to me. If you say you're not coming, you're not going to do it alone. I'm a teacher because people used to sit and listen to me. I'm a writer because people buy my book. I'm a politician because people vote me. He's a community leader because we trust him. So the basic things of I am, it's only effective when other people are. Ladies and gentlemen, we are closing. Do you know that in Maine, and a few years ago, maybe in the United States of America, immigrants was everything. Everybody's an immigrant. And one day I came here and I said, no, even immigrants, they have categories. Yeah, I said, asylum seekers are not primarily immigrants. So if you want to help an asylum seeker, it's not the same thing you help a refugee or somebody who came with a lottery visa. An asylum seeker did not just immigrate, but was forced to immigrate. She was forced. A person like me or Christian with our caliber, we could be in our place and become maybe the president of the country. But our way of thinking forced us to live. You are talking to me until one day you discovered I'm an asylum seeker. It means no paper. It means thinking. You are talking to this gentleman until you know that he's an asylum seeker. But one difference between other places and here asylum seekers are finding their way in because of people like you. So I'll take this opportunity to thank you. It's not easy to be an asylum seeker because you've lost everything. So we are talking about the others. There are many categories of others, your family, your friend, but there are certain categories of others who have lost everything. Like me, like him. We lost, like Mr. Denzo. So just you coming here as an American, it means a lot for us. We feel welcome. Maybe it starts by you saying to us, welcome. Can you say something to the asylum seekers, the others? Tell them something.
Okay, well, hello, asylum seekers and non-asylum seekers, all people. You know, I think that a very, I could say, funny thing that happens, although it's not to make us laugh, but it's a thought-provoking thing. We are, I think, more than 330 million American people. And that really means 330 million different souls, different minds. And so there is not a uniform American feeling about immigrants. And clearly there is not. And there are people in this country who want immigrants, who we need immigrants for so many reasons to come and help us, please come. And at the same time, there are many American people who are scared that they see the problems that the asylums and the folks from the far cause. And I believe this. This is maybe a sobering question. It makes me feel like, oh, a sobering question. But I like the ancient Chinese Buddhist idea of the yin and the yang with all of us. And I think that the moral of that story is all of us, we have good, but even the best of us, we have something that is also very worrisome to other people. That's part of our lives. Many people know me and they think, oh, Carly's a good person. But there are many people who think that I am a bad person. Yeah. And I think, well, you don't know me, but there are people who look at me and they are very scared of me. And it behooves me to learn more. Why? What in me worries people? And I know that there are. And I think it's an important question for immigrants also to see, like, what in me worries them. We must learn, why are people so scared of immigrants? Because we need to find the answer. Well, what are we going to do to to give the olive branch? What are the meaningful olive branches that we can offer to people who are afraid
And
of us?
Mr. Bisimwa, I don't know if he's still a sound singer. Maybe he's already having his papers.
I've
But,
rented for a while.
oh, yes.
Which is good news,
He's
man.
in a Sali now. Maybe he has a message for you, America. You had a message for us.
Okay.
He has a message. Look at the camera and tell them how we are grateful for everything they've done. So we are just following what Dr. King said. What are you doing for others? We know, American, you've done many things for others. And today, our representative, Dr. Christian Bisimwa, we call him doctor because he knows so many things. Tell them how grateful we are. And I'll finish with the last thought.
Yeah, the gratitude we do have is about the sense of welcoming us, you know, considering a human being first, and then saying is we grow up somehow in our community and villages. When my dad is not at home, another daddy take care of me.
Oh, yes.
When my mom is not home, another mommy can feed me immediately. You see the golden rule coming from far away, but we start losing them. But we found them somehow in America. And then that gives us a chance to understand that people considering also the value those immigrants are coming with. You know, as I said, when you are seen, when you are heard, people are considering what you are explaining to them, and then you get support, immediately there is a strong trust in that. And then those values start rising up immediately. Think about the guy in front of me. He's speaking like 5 languages.
Wow.
So he's fluent in both languages. And the wise man said one day, that man mean in him there is 5 people.
Oh! I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's so important to understand that. But easily, he can help somebody who speaks Lingala. Immediately, he can help somebody who speaks Portuguese. He can help immediately somebody speak French. And then learn how to share your affection. So the best way we're sharing that, I mean, we grew up in French schools, you know what I mean?
Yes.
They explain very well in Greek. We can put on the table the difference between affection et affectivité. That stands for when you're in a family, I'm not sharing only my affection, but I'm also sharing my affectivity too. So bringing those, I'm knowing, I mean, I'm learning in America here how to do the best I can without sharing those values to others.
Oh, wonderful.
Just because we have a legacy to leave to people. And the legacy starts by those. I bought a house in Gorham, beautiful one.
You
But-
left him back.
Is that? Of course, we're gonna have a dinner over there. Very
Ah,
soon.
yes, sir.
Even our new friend. I mean,
Oh,
so,
yes, sir.
You know, the first time I came in, there's unknown people who invited me in
the neighborhood.
it was the Thanksgiving
Okay,
seasons.
okay.
Sharing turkey. you
Yes,
know.
yes.
It was so beautiful that people didn't know us.
Oh,
And until today, I feel like I owe him some things.
yes, sir.
I was so warmed. I was like completely full of joy. That day, I was like sleeping more than 6 hours.
Wow.
But just because what happened back home, I couldn't even spend like 2-3 hours straight sleeping.
Yeah.
So we have also a chance to meet social workers. I'm so
Ladies
grateful for them.
and gentlemen, this is Dream Time Motion with me, Isaac Nzambi, in TV Banda. Remember, TV Banda is here. Denzulu Zito, you'll find him on Facebook everywhere. If you have a party, if you have a birthday party, if you want to marry and celebrate the wedding with good music, but you want to remember what you've said, what's happened, how you kissed your bride, come to Denzulu Zito TV Banda and record your memories. My last thought is, Dr. King said it, the most urgent and persistent question in life. How many questions we have in life? How many questions? I thought he could say where we came from, what will happen after death, who we are, how good we are, who must I talk to. It's not about what you know, but who you know. No, he went somewhere else. And he said, The most urgent and persistent question is, what am I doing for others? Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I woke up and I was in tears when I thought about that. Trying to help others cost almost my life. I was called urgently in Italy when I was in France to meet a lady who wanted to talk to a life coach. I went there and the pandemic started. I had nowhere to go. I back to Africa. And everybody say you're a loser. But in my heart, I know I wanted to help somebody. How many times in your life, in my life, we met people like, Papa Christian, you remember me? When somebody start telling you, you remember me, you know already you have done something for that person. Ladies and gentlemen, even though we are asylum seekers, we want also to help others. I want to introduce you to my last poetry book. The title is The Song of Asylum. As an asylum seeker, I went to many forums speaking about asylum seekers from the north, the east, and the south of America. I never seen somewhere a poem, a song, or a letter telling people who really we are. After listening to Christian Bisimwa, all the famous asylum seekers who become the asylees, I said, let me write a poem. For those who are coming, they can use this poem as the identity of the asylum seeker. Ladies and gentlemen, we are asylum seekers. We did not leave something to look for many things. We have lost everything to look for something. We did not choose to depart, but we were forced to leave or else. We have seen those who tried not to leave and did not make it. We did not migrate, but we just left without knowing where the journey will end. It was not a trip, but a run and a long walk to a place of hiding. We are asylum seekers and are in pelerinage of an unspoken language. We do not have enough words, jargon, or language to explain it all. But you can see in our eyes that nobody had prepared us to live. Nobody has prepared us to answer the question, why did you leave? We have lost the peace of mind for a peace of mind. We have lost the reason for living and now seek the reason for existing. We are asylum seekers. We know those who seek peace like Carlos and compassion will find us, because we are all seekers of something in this universe. We know our kids and grandkids will tell our real story. As we don't know how to speak your language, but we try to speak in your language. We may not know how to give you back what you have given to us. As we are marching through the way out, hoping we shall meet you on the doorway, as we are all seeking the way to peace, health, wealth, and love. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for reflecting with us about what Dr. Martin Luther King said. For today, I have to say bye-bye. But in my heart, I'm still thinking about you and praying also about you. And remember what the Bible says. I'm asking you to pray for the land that gave you a refuge. Because your peace depends on the peace. We know our prosperity depends on the prosperity of America. Our peace depends on the peace of America. Our happiness depends on the happiness of America. That's why in Dreamtime Motion, we are still praying for America. Because America became our second home. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you again. Bye-bye.